Hey, Chimicum Junior and Senior High School Choirs, Miss G here. I am hoping and really just thinking about you daily that you are safe and well, and I miss you guys. And I know this is a tough time for all of you. I have really appreciated those of you who are trying to keep up with your work, however. It's one of those things I know where you are feeling overwhelmed and trying to get caught up now that maybe you're figuring out how to use some things that maybe you were unsure of before. In that case, my suggestion would be that you start today where you are. In other words, if you have not done anything up to this point and you're just now getting started, start with today's lesson. Don't go backwards, okay? Keep going forwards from here. Everything that I've given up to this point has been mostly review, and now we're getting into some new things, and so now would be a really good time for you to join on the bandwagon, pardon the pun, and get started. So the way that I'm scoring you guys is just if you're doing the work, you're getting credit for doing the work. If you're not doing the work, then I'm giving you an incomplete. And at the end of the time, as long as you're showing effort and you are zooming in whenever you possibly can, then I am giving you credit for that. The good news is your grade cannot go down, and I know there were lots of A's in choir, and you're probably thinking, oh, this is just easy for me, I don't need to worry about it. But I think in order to avoid consequences in the future, you want to do your work today, okay? So that being said, start where we are. And today we are starting with our learning goals in our packet. Remember, this is the packet with the keyboard on the front. Okay, it looks like this. You were all given one before you left school on March the 16th, if not before. And we are doing the major and minor scales right now, and we're in the middle of our harmonic minor scale. Okay, so this is where we are. Learning goal number 40. It says the three types of minor scales are natural, harmonic, and melodic. A harmonic minor scale uses the key signature as well as the accidentals. Now remember, guys, the key signature is what flats or sharps, if any, are written right after the clef sign. Remember, when you do these packets, the only ones that you have to do in the strategy are for your clef that you sing in. We've gone over this before. Sopranos and altos, you only have to do treble clef. The clef in the middle is for stringed instruments, so nobody has to do that. And if you're a tenor or bass, you should be doing the bass clef, okay? So the first example that it gives us says that harmonic minor scales use the key signature as well as accidentals. In other words, naturals, sharps, or flats. The accidental raises the seventh note of a scale a half step, going up and coming down the scale. And it's important we know going up and coming down, because when we do the next type of scale, it changes, okay, on the way down. So this one stays the same, going up and going down. We are still using the note in our key signature, which in this very first one is a B flat, but we're also going to raise the seventh pitch. So let's take a look at the example. They're giving us numbers underneath the scale. It's important to remember that a scale has 8 notes. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and notice on the 7th degree, they've put a sharp next to that note because the sharp would make the note go up a half step. And there's number 8. There are no accidentals in the example key signature. So this is just the key of, it's in A minor. We'll set the key of C because A minor is the key of C. So it starts on an A, goes up, and raises the 7th degree. If it were to go back down again, it would still raise the 7th going down. It says in our strategy, write 2 harmonic scales starting on the given note. So we're going to write 1 in this measure, or this measure if we're baritones and tenors, and 1 in this measure, or this measure if we're baritones and tenors, or basses and tenors, okay? So then it says the key signature is given. Yep, they've shown us the flat in the key signature. But be sure you follow the pattern indicated in the example above for raising the 7th tone by a half step. Use either a sharp or a natural sign to raise this note. Remember, only sharps and naturals can make it raise. Flats make it go lower, so you don't want to be using flats in this case, just sharps or naturals. Then it says, depending of course on what the key signature is. Number 4, use whole notes. Do only your clef, do only the ascending scale. So you only have to do a scale going up, and you need to do your whole notes, okay? They've given you the bottom note. They're expecting you to write the next 7 pitches in. Remember, a scale goes from space to the very next line, okay? So I have written in my scale, and as I went up, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on my 7th degree, I had to look at the note and say, well, in my key signature, there's a B flat. I went ahead and wrote that in when I got to that note, which was here. This is a D. D, E, F, G, A, B flat. I put my flat sign in just so that I could let Miss G know I knew the answer. And then my 7th degree is a C. Well, it's a C all by itself, so I have to do something to that C to raise it. Okay, it's already a natural, so what do I have to make it? I hope you said sharp. So I have to add my sharp sign right before my C note. And then I add my last note, which is also a D. Here's a D, and here is a D. 8 notes going up the scale. Okay? On my next one, and I hope you're doing your packet right along with me, guys. I'm really helping you out here, so this is like doing it in class with Miss G, all right? So do it along with me, and you're going to get all your points, okay? On the next scale, it starts on the note E. Okay, if I'm in bass clef, this is also a low E. All right, so they're the same scale. And by the way, this is a D, the same as it was here. Okay, and as you can see, I went up that scale, and I put in my B flat. I sharped my C, and then got to my high D. Okay, I'm just going up from line to space, and I'm saying my letters as I go up. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, then I add my 7th, C sharp, D. Okay, moving on, I'm on E, all right? So now I'm going to go from line to the next space, line, space, line, space, line, space. I'm going to say my notes going up, starting with, what note did I say we were going to start with? An E, because we're in E minor. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Now, I know that I've got an F sharp in my key, so I added it right after this one because there's my F sharp, just so I was aware. And then when I get to the 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is it a natural already? Then I have to make it a what? I hope you said sharp. So now I also have going from my C to my D sharp, and then finally landing back on E, okay? So that's all I need to do. If I'm a soprano or alto, I do these two. If I'm a bass or a tenor, I do these two. At the bottom of the page, it says check up. Number 1, the harmonic minor scale uses the given key signature and raises the blank tone of the scale. They're asking us what number of the scale it raises. Look up here for your answers down here. Look up here. Okay, the accidental raises the 7th note of the scale, so I put 7th in my space. Number 2 says, the 3 types of minor scales are, and it already told us right here, and Short of giving you the answers, I know you just have to look up there. The answers are there. Or sometimes you have to look back at the previous page. Number 3 says, a special half step, whole step blank is used to give scales of various types their own unique sounds. Okay? And I know I read this, and I'm looking at my strategy. In number 2 it says, be sure you follow the indicated in the example above for raising the 7th tone by a half step. Okay? So the word is up in here that you're going to put on that line. The word's pattern. Okay, you always need to follow the pattern. Number 4 says blanks are notes with natural, sharp, or flats. Okay, we've been talking about those a lot the past few pages. Okay, what are those called? You can write that one in. I'm not going to give you the answer on that one. I think you can do it. Learning goal 41, guys. Let's move on. We're on melodic minor scales, okay? Remember, there are three types of scales. You just wrote them down. Natural, harmonic, melodic. The natural scale is just like the major scale, but it starts on a different note. It starts on its relative minor. If I'm in the key of C, I go down 3 steps, and my minor is A, okay? If I am in the key of, let's see, I'll just pick one, the key of E, and I go down 3, I'm in C minor, okay? So all major scales have a relative natural minor. When we have that natural minor key signature and we want to make it harmonic, okay, we just did that. We raised the 7th. Now, in order to make it melodic, we're going to raise 2 scale degrees. Let's see what they are. The melodic minor scale uses the given key signature and raises the 6th and the 7th notes a half step going up the scale. Here's the tricky part. When coming down the scale, those raised notes are now lowered back to their original key signature. So on the way up, it's melodic. On the way down, it's natural. So melodic minor, going up only. It becomes natural minor if we descend, if we go down. Okay, so ascending, what is it? If we raise the 6th and 7th, it's melodic. Going down, we don't raise the 6th and 7th. It says, and it's showing you this in the example, it's showing you the scale pattern starting on C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on 6, 7, it's raising the notes by giving it a F sharp and a G sharp. On the way down, it naturalizes those 2 notes. So the 2 notes that you sharped now become naturals. So you can see what that looks like. Going up, we raised them. Going down, we naturalized them. Put them back into the original key. Now, they're not all going to be a natural because it depends on what key you were in. For instance, when we look at the first scale that we're going to go up and down on, this time we're going to do 2 scales, ascending and descending. The first one starts on D, just like it did before. We've got a B flat in the key signature, okay? We were in F major, now we're in D melodic minor. So we're going up from space to line. We're going to draw in all of our pitches, just like it asks us to in number 1. Write 2 melodic minor scales beginning on the given note. So write in your lines and spaces. Be sure to use the pattern indicated in the example above for raising the 6th and 7th tones and lowering the correct notes coming back down the scale. Write the ascending and descending scales in whole notes. The key signature has already been done for you, and you only do them for your clef. We've already talked about that, okay? So, sopranos and altos, tenors and basses. Sopranos and altos, let's just take a look. When we go up, actually, no, I'm going to write in the tenor and bass ones. Again, we're starting on D, and we're just going to put in our notes. Be careful that you're putting them only in the lines and spaces as you go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 is already done for you going back down. So I'm just writing in my notes for my tenor and bass. And one thing I want you to be really cautious of as you're writing them, these aren't very big staffs, are they? They're really not. So I am having to be extra cautious not to go over lines and to make sure that you can really tell where my notes are. from line to space, that I don't overlap too much of them so that I get the notes correct, okay? I know there's a B flat in the key signature. I've started on D. So let's go up by letter name. D, E, F, G, A. This would be a B flat normally, but there's a problem. What number is that in the scale? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to raise my B flat. This is where my natural sign comes in handy. I'm going to raise it to a natural. So I've got to make that sign that looks like this. Take a look at your descending scale and your example. In order to make a natural sign, guys, we're not really that familiar with them. You make a number 4, the beginning of a number 4, and then you make a number 7. Okay, and then you've got your natural sign. Okay, that one's pretty big. And 4. You know what I did? I know what I did. Make your 4 and then start your 7 in the middle of it. 7. Hello, Miss G. You can do this. It's been a while since I've made natural signs like this, all right? And I'm going to put that natural sign on that B, the number 6 scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm putting my natural sign in. As plain as day, I made it right in front of that B. Okay? That's going to raise that up because it was already a B flat. Now I've got a C. It's my 7th degree. Remember, we're raising the 6th and the 7th. If it would help you, you could even write numbers underneath your scale. And I really think that does help. I'm going to do it. Especially since when I read this with you, I'm seeing it backwards on the page. It really helps me to see the numbers. All right, so here's my 6th degree, natural. My 7th degree, I've got to make it higher. What is going to make a natural higher? A flat or a sharp? Let's see if you have the right idea. Did you put in the sharp? I hope you did. Then I get to my D. Now, when I go down, I have to indicate that that is now going to go back to its natural state. Or maybe it's already in the key signature as something else. So when I go down, my C sharp now becomes a C 4/7 natural. My B, which I made a natural, has to go a half step lower in order to fix it because it was a B flat in the key signature. It's now got to become a B flat. So I've got to write in my flat sign so that Miss G knows, you know, that is now going down. It is a flat. Okay? So it's back to that normal B flat in the key signature. Same thing happens up above with my notes with my sopranos and altos. It's exactly the same. Going up, flat sharp, going down, natural. I'm sorry, going up, natural sharp, going down, what did I say? Sharp, flat. Couldn't see that. I have to look at it 2 different ways. All right? Melodic minor. Let's see if we did everything in the strategy. Write 2 melodic minor scales, 1 going up and down. Be sure to use the pattern indicated. Raise 6 and 7 going up, lower them going down. We did that. Write ascending and descending scales. And then don't forget we had the key signature done and did it for our clef. Great. The checkup at the bottom says, a melodic minor scale raises the blank and blank notes. Okay, you should know the answer to that because we just worked on it. The descending scale uses the given key. Okay, remember we talked about it. When there's a flat in the key signature or a sharp in the key. Miss G just gave it away, right? Okay, let's go on to number 42, guys. Learning goal 42. This is a review. And it's a review of minor scales. Okay, we've just finished in Learning Goal 39. We did a natural minor scale, and remember that's just the key signature. Then we did the harmonic minor, raised seventh. We just did the melodic minor, where we raised the sixth and the seventh going up, and then we put them back to their natural state going down, their natural key signature. There are two basic scale types, all right? So there are only two basic scale types. We already know they are major and minor. Remember, a major scale has that kind of a happier sound, and a minor scale sounds a little creepy, right? There are three types of minor scales. A natural minor, the scale follows the normal key signature with no changes. Just went over this. Harmonic, the scale uses the normal key signature, raises the seventh going up and down. The melodic minor, the scale uses the normal key signature, raises the sixth and seventh tones going up, but lowers these to the normal key tone coming down. The strategy on number 42, reread and study the scale formula for each scale. Change the following scales by adding a sharp, flat, or natural sign to the left of the correct notes in order to make the type of minor scale indicated. So in other words, it says natural minor. So whatever's in the key signature is all you need. So it wants us to put in the B flat going up the scale and the B flat going down. Natural minor does not change. In the harmonic minor, we're still in the key of B flat, but it wants us to put in not only the B flat, but also we want to raise the seventh. So we're putting in, on our note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on our seventh scale degree, we're raising it up by putting in a sharp on our C. We also do the same thing coming down. And I put my B flat in too, just because I want to know that, for my own brain, I want to know where that is. Now, if I am playing an instrument, that B flat might not be written in because it's in the key signature, right? It just means you play a B flat because I told you to right here. And the last melodic minor scale, melodic minor, is going to raise our sixth and our seventh. So we had a B flat. Now, and that's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D, E, F, G, A, B would have been B flat. We raise it to that natural like we did on the last page. We also raise the next one. What do we have to put in to make a C go higher? We get to the last note of the scale, and when we descend, when we go down, we put them back. We make the C now a natural, and we also make the B a flat. Okay, so Miss G didn't write in her natural sign on her C. I better put it in there so that you're not confused. So I've got to put my natural back here, and then I've got to put my flat back in so that it tells me that it's no longer a natural and a sharp. I now have a natural, and remember, it's flatted in the key, so it's flatted in the scale. Okay? And even if I was composing a song and it was in a natural or in a melodic minor, I would make sure when I descended to note that would be a B flat, okay? If I wanted my song to sound that way. I do the same thing in the bass clef. It's exactly the same. Okay, I'm just going to add my B flat on my natural minor, going up and down. On my harmonic minor, I'm going to add my C sharp, going up and coming down. And I don't necessarily need to put the B flat in because I know it's in the key signature. But it's nice to see it, so I think I will add it. And then my melodic minor, remember, I'm making the B flat a natural. I'm sharping the C. Coming down, I'm naturalizing the C and flatting the B. So I've got the same things written in that I had written in for the treble clef, okay? Depending on which part you sing. Check up. How many basic scale types are there? Well, up here it said There are basic scale types, major and minor. Answer, beep. Okay, they are blank and blank. I just said them. Name the 3 types of minor scales and briefly describe their changes. Number 1 is the natural minor. And what's the changes? Nothing. Same key signature, nothing changes. Second one, harmonic minor, raise the 7th. Third one, melodic minor, raise the 6th and the 7th going up, lower them coming down. Okay? Now, if you are doing your theory packet and you can't get pictures taken, or you take your pictures and you can't upload it on Google Classroom, you can send it to me via email, okay? So remember, Tina_Gruwell at csd49.org, and I can get your work that way. When I'm doing these videos with you and we've just gone through your 3 pages for this week, really there's no reason not to be doing your work, right? I've also given you 2, well, depending on if you're high school or middle school, 1 assignment each in addition to this, which is due at the end of next week. And the assignment this week is an adjudication of a YouTube performance. And for the high school, there's a YouTube performance of the song you're working on, Bohemian Rhapsody, and it is a choir singing in 4 parts. Your job is to adjudicate the choir and turn in that adjudication form. For the middle school, I put in, did I do it? Sippin' Cider, I believe. Yes, Sippin' Cider. And it didn't start at the beginning of the song, so don't worry about that. Wherever it starts, just adjudicate it from there out, okay? I think you'll find it interesting. I think it's fun to listen to other groups and see if you can kind of compare the difference between the sound that we're making as a choir and the sound that they're making as a choir, okay? There'll be some more fun stuff coming. I'm still trying to dig up some things online, which will be a little bit more challenging for you. And you should watch for some more music to be uploaded before too long as well for you to practice. Okay, guys, keep your voices working. I'll see you on Zoom tomorrow, Wednesday, with the high school at 11:30, and Thursday with junior high at 11:30. Sorry, I called you middle school. All right. You guys have a super week, and I look forward to Zooming in. All right. Thanks so much. Happy theory.